itchy, flaky scalp, okay? It's lighter than most oils, so it will keep your hair fluffy and full while providing high quality moisture to damaged follicles. Baddies, I feel like it's been forever, although I've been uploading every week, but you know, with the magic of editing and batching and all that other good stuff and jazz. But anyway, we are here today to talk about carrier oils. I did a video called the best essential oils for hair growth, and now we're going to talk about the best carrier oils for hair growth, all of that good stuff. Now, listen, not all carrier oils are created equal. Not all scalps are the same. Not everyone can tolerate certain things. Bada bada bing, bada boom, right? I am a huge believer in creating your own hair growth oil using not only the essential oils that you prefer or the best essential oils for hair growth and to stop hair loss, but also using the carrier oils that work best with your hair, with your scalp, with your chemistry, with all of that good stuff. But then there's other things that people do not consider or, you know, even think about when they're throwing oils together and making a hair growth oil, right? So anyway, back to the point. Carrier oils are made from seeds, nuts, or other natural ingredients that's going to carry essential oils to, you know, to wherever, to your scalp, whatever, your hair. It dilutes the essential oils because essential oils within themselves cannot be used directly on your skin, on your scalp. It can cause burning, it can cause, you know, follicle damage, etc. So you need to use a carrier oil to dilute those essential oils and also essentially to carry those essential oils to the scalp for maximum hair growth. So one thing people never talk about when they're talking about carrier oils or making hair growth oils, etc., is the comedogenic scale. So let's talk about what the comedogenic scale is. Whenever you hear something is non-comedogenic, that means it does not clog your pores. Comedogenic means that it does clog your pores. And so what people don't know, or, you know, until today, until you've come to this channel, by the way, subscribe for all the tea on, you know, not only just hair loss and hair growth, but skin care, skin health, wellness, vaginal health, all that good stuff, how to be a baddie at any age, okay? Anyway, back to the point. What people don't talk about is that you can use an oil that may have great hair growth benefits that is extremely comedogenic, and it's clogging your pores and it's causing what we all love, breakouts, right? Love to hate. And so there's something called a comedogenic scale that goes from 0 to 5, okay? 0 means it poses absolutely no risk of clogging your pores. 5 meaning that this is the highest risk of clogging your pores. One thing I need you guys to understand is that you want an oil not only that's non-comedogenic, but that contains the proteins that serves, you know, pretty much several functions to help your hair regrow. So let's continue, okay? There's a couple of different things that these carrier oils can do within themselves, right? Without the essential oils. And that's, it helps, you know, to encourage cell growth. You know, they have fatty acids in them for hair growth. And let's just talk about some of those fatty acids, okay? Linoleic acid, let me put it up here or somewhere. We'll put it. Linoleic acid, okay, stimulates hair growth. It maintains a healthy scalp condition and it controls water loss of the hair follicle. Let's stop and pause right there. Why is controlling water loss, why is maintaining water important for your follicle in general? So water is just essential for life, right? In every aspect, okay? Your organs need it, your hair, your skin, your nails, your extremities. Water is just that girl. She's it, okay? Water is gonna do everything that you need her to do. She's always gonna give what she's supposed to have gave. And so with that being said, whenever your skin, let's talk about your skin, right, is losing water. If you look at someone with eczematous skin, or AKA eczema, that's someone who not only have a host of other problems happening, right? There's inflammatory problems, there's external problems, internal problems, there's immune issues going on that all contributes to eczema or atopic dermatitis, which we're not talking about today. But one of the things that causes or can really make eczema worse is that a person with eczema, they're losing water, right? They're losing that internal water supply that your body keeps, your skin holds to keep you not to only keep you, hydrated, to keep your skin hydrated, nourished, but supple, beautiful. So that's when you see someone with dry skin, they're losing that water. It's the same thing for your hair follicle. Your hair follicle is going to need that water. It's a supply, right? It's gonna supply your hair with nutrients, that water. It's like, think of your follicle like someone who's thirsty. You don't want to lose any type of water. You're gonna be thirsty. That's the point, okay? Let's move on. There's another fatty acid that's called oleic acid. By the way, there's a ton of fatty acids, but I'm just naming like 2 of like the main fatty acids that you want in your carrier oil. So oleic acid will also control water loss in your strands while making your hair softer and more pliable. So it's very important to basically make sure that when you're using a carrier oil that it's non-comedogenic, and if nothing else, that it contains these 2 very important fatty acids, linoleic acid and oleic acid, okay? Don't judge me, okay? So now that I said all of that, some of you are like, okay, Beverly, now get to it. What are the best carrier oils? So without further ado, the 5 best carrier oils that you need to dilute your essential oil or to basically create your hair growth oil is number 1, Argan Oil. Argan Oil is full of oleic and linoleic acid, which protects your hair from heat damage that comes from UV rays and styling tools, okay? So Argan Oil is that girl. She's been that girl for a long time. That's why there's a ton of products with Argan Oil. But I'll be honest with you, not all Argan Oils are Argan Oils. You want something that is organic. Pumpkin seed oil, okay? Pumpkin seed oil is the best overall for stimulating hair growth, okay? Because of its mixture of antioxidants, essential fatty acids, and minerals. Not only is pumpkin seed oil the GOAT for me, she is scientifically proven to increase fullness and length, okay? So I'm not gonna go into details about the study, but there was a study conducted on both mice and men, right? And that showed that people that were actually taking it, okay, literally seen just an increase of not only hair growth, but thickness and density. So that's something that's very important because you can have long, thin hair, okay? Don't ask me how I know. Just know that I know, okay? And we've been working, y'all. We've been working on her. So bottom line is pumpkin seed oil is amazing, okay? The next one is Maringa Oil, okay? Maringa Oil has active ingredients, vitamin E and C, right? To help shield the hair from free radicals and prevent damage. Listen, it's not gonna tint dyed hair. So if you're someone who loves to color your hair, if you're someone who, you like to switch it up, Maringa Oil is not gonna tint your hair, okay? And it provides extra strengthening for damaged and weakened hair. Not only that, but Maringa within itself has a lot of color properties, and some people are afraid that it's going to tint your hair, but I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna do any of that to your hair, at least not the oil, okay? So the next one is Grape Seed Oil. Grape Seed Oil is the best choice for people who have naturally thin and fine hair, okay? So sis, if you're dealing with thin hair, if you're dealing with fine hair, you want Grape Seed Oil. Why? It's lightweight, it easily absorbs into the hair while making it more malleable, okay? At the end of the day, thin hair is not healthy hair. Sometimes thin hair is damaged hair, chemically processed hair, or you're thinning for other reasons, right? There's so many reasons why you can be thinning. But at the end of the day, my advice to you is you want to use something that's lightweight, that is going to absorb very quickly. So I'm going to give you an honorable mention. And one of my favorite oils is safflower oil. Safflower oil, while it's not necessarily always, thrown around when we're talking about hair growth or hair in general, you usually hear of others. Why safflower oil I love is because it's very light. It's very absorbable. It's so thin, it's almost like you can put it on and not feel it. It's very low. I think, in fact, this is 0 on the Comedogenic Scale. It's very low on the Comedogenic Scale. So it's it's non-comedogenic, but to the umpteenth power. And it has not only fatty acids, linoleic acid and oleic acid, but it has other fatty acids that are just going to make your hair plump and supple, okay? It is going to nourish your follicle to the umpteenth power, provide that blood flow, and of course that oxygen. Anyway, so the next one is jojoba oil, okay? Its antimicrobial properties make it perfect for people who have itchy, flaky scalp, okay? It's lighter than most oils, so it will keep your hair fluffy and full while providing high quality moisture to damaged follicles. Listen, all I need you to understand is while it can be overwhelming to choose a carrier oil, no, I didn't mention your favorites, by the way. I did not mention castor oil. I did not mention olive oil. I did not mention coconut oil. There's a lot of reasons why, and I'll just throw that out there real quick. Coconut oil, olive oil, they're comedogenic. They will block your pores, okay? Not only will they block and clog your pores, but they create a cesspool for bacteria and yeast to breed, okay? To breed on your scalp, okay? Take notice that many of you have experienced this. When you use a lot of these hair growth oils and concoctions or whatever, you then start to see flakiness. You start to see a lot of, you know, dandruff. And sometimes some of you even develop seborrheic dermatitis, which essentially is a yeast infection on your scalp because you're using all these oils that are creating not the right type of environment, right? It's making the environment so moist and so like rich that it's literally just breeding more and more bacteria. So miss me with the olive oil, okay? If you're sending me a hair growth oil, if I'm even looking at if it has olive oil, if it has coconut oil in it, which is extremely comedogenic, all of that stuff, miss me with it. Now, black castor oil is not as comedogenic as olive and coconut. Comedogenic rating, let's see. So castor oil is a 1. It's high in ricinoleic acid. Ricinoleic acid is used in pigment, printing, ink, and textile finishing. It is sometimes added to turkey red oil and dry cleaning soaps. Its main use is as chemical intermediate to produce various oleochemicals. Okay, let me see. Is ricinoleic acid toxic? The available data demonstrate few toxic effects, although animal studies indicate no significant irritant or sensitization. Potential positive reactions to ricinoleic acid in selected populations with identified dermatoses did suggest that sensitization reactions may be higher in that population. In English, it can cause reactions for people who may have sensitive skin or atopic dermatitis. So, sourced from the castor bean, right? Castor oil is rich in ricinoleic acid, a type of fatty acid found to fight inflammation. When applied to the scalp, it's purported to enhance the health of the hair follicles and in turn promote hair growth as well as protect against hair loss. So listen, ricinoleic acid, I don't know what I read earlier, but apparently it has really good benefits as well, anti-inflammatory benefits. Castor oil, by the way, is a 1 on the comedogenic scale, okay? So that means that it's a little, it can like, so it's 1, right? So if a 0, it's not bad. It's non-comedogenic. On the scale of 0 to 5, it's a 1. Meaning that it's non-comedogenic, but maybe it has the potential to clog your pores. Listen, I do prefer everything that's 0 on that scale. Now, I will admit pumpkin seed oil is a little higher actually on the comedogenic scale, but it has so much more benefits and it has clinical data that backs up and support the fact that pumpkin seed oil is really good for growing your hair. So all that to say, guys, you can use the black castor oil. I didn't mention it as one of my favorites, but I would definitely stay away from olive oil and I would definitely stay away from coconut oil, hands down, okay? Anyway, that's the video. Please like this video, help me out with the algorithm, put me out there, guys. I am sweating, so listen, please help your girl out. And not only that, but subscribe, like join the family, join the familia. I am helping you because if you don't know, was diagnosed with female pattern hair loss and I have been growing my hair. It's thriving, honey. Yes. And I'm so proud, okay? But follow me through my journey as I help you girls out, guys, too. Yeah, it is what it is. So talk to you later.